Alright, now I've got a confession to make. I've got a lot of scrap wood all over the place. So I've got hard and soft wood here, plywood, a mixture of everything here. There's more down here, and over here, and even here. Here. So today, I'm going to try and sort it all out by building a storage unit for most of the hardwood. This is one of those jobs I've been putting off for a long time. When you first start woodworking, you never think that you will end up with as much scrap wood, and you also believe that you will get rid of any pieces that you won't need to keep, but you're not sure how to. One thing I do try to do every year is to burn a lot of the excess, but I haven't allowed myself time to do it within the last year. During the warmer weather, I worry that there was a lot of smoke. Then this time of year, it's basically raining nearly every day. This is the UK after all. Firstly, I think it's a good job I've recorded all that on 2 cameras, because I forgot to turn the microphone on. Next bit, need to measure up the width and the height of the unit. First thing I can do is remove these. Now you'll notice I've taken the measurement from the back of the wall and not from here, and that's because I can put a little wedge in and I'll know the measurements for that because I've got a cheat code. So I know the exact distance and how to cut it in just from this old OSB that I use from the top shelf. So I've got the measurements. Next I'll have to make some room on my workbench where I put all the scrap wood so that I can make the unit, and all of that is coming up next. When I went to go and get the wood, I decided to go for a 4-pack. Normally when you go to places such as B&Q or the other big box stores, you expect the wood to be warped. I was very happy and surprised that none of the boards were warped. Starting off, I measure out the base, which is 600mm in length and initially 300mm wide, but I decided to go with the 3 board widths, which comes to about 325mm. Another plan was not to use glue on this project. Keep watching to see if I keep to that. If I wasn't going to use glue, then I decided that I would use pocket holes on this project. So I marked out on the boards where they were going to go. I feel like I need to apologise for the amount of drilling of pocket holes that you're going to see on this project. I do skip quite a few of them, but it's all about the process, and that's why I keep quite a few of them in. When it came to the assembly of the base, I thought it would be best just to use some clamps, more so that it would remain flat and the boards would join together quite easily. At times I wish that the trend bit in the impact driver was a bit longer. I suppose that they do make a longer one, but well, I suppose that there are always other things to buy. I just checked on the website, and yes, they do have a longer bit. I currently have 75mm, but they also do a 150mm. When it comes to the sides, I did have a bit of a wider board spare, and so I used it along with one of the boards that I just got, which was 119mm wide, and again pocket holes to join the boards together. It does save time and means that I don't have to wait overnight for any gluing to dry. As a side note, I was also happy that the wider boards were also warp free. It does make things so much easier. For the top of the unit, I decided to go with 2 board widths instead of 3 like the base. I can't even explain why I did it, I just felt that it would look good, and well, I suppose that it does use a little bit less wood, and again pocket holes for the connections. I used clamps and squares to make sure that I had the sides positioned into the right places, which obviously made it easier putting the screws in. For the top, well, I just used normal screws to secure it in place. Still, no glue used. The width of the middle shelf, I used 3 boards, and here's the little surprise that after using pocket holes throughout so far, I glued it together. So it's not quite glue-free project. Using some scrap from the builder's spaces, I got the shelf into position and then secured it with, yes, pocket hole screws. However, trying to get some of them in to position, I found it really difficult and awkward, but in the end I did manage. Once all of that was completed, it was time to get the unit into the final position and to get the scrap wood onto the shelves. I was going to use some dividers on the bottom shelf, but then I decided against them. They would just take up valuable real estate. One scrap wood storage completed, and as you can see, I've got hardwoods on the bottom, pointy stick, going from dark to a bit lighter, and then it's mostly pine on top, some Douglas fir, and I've got a bit of lime wood. Then there's still some bits which I couldn't put into the storage, which are too big, so they're going to have to stay on the top for now. As you'd have seen from the original footage, I've done nothing for the plywood. It's currently in a storage box, so what I'll probably do is go through that and keep the best bits, and then that will go on top of here. So where they're gonna go, I don't know yet. And if you've enjoyed this little project and you want to see the project where I've used the scrap wood before, check that out. And until the next time, Gan Canny Man.